today we are going through Funfair. This is a 2 to 4 player game. It is designed by Joel Finch and it is published by Good Games Publishing. Nick and I are going to go through how you play and then we're going to give our review.
With all of the cards shuffled in their different categories, the first player decided with the Funfair ticket, and the roller coaster started at the event city phase. You are ready to go ahead and finish setup. Deal the showcase cards, one each to each player, face down. Then each player gets a gate. After everyone has a gate, you are then going to deal 5 park cards to each player. Make sure that you have an attraction, at least one, in your hand. If not, go ahead and discard those and get 5 more. You'll have to show at all the other players that you do not have an attraction card. Then go ahead and set up the market. You're going to deal 6 cards to the market, face up. Then let's set up the city. The city cards, you're going to have 2 face down, and you're going to put a blueprint closing card after those 2 that are face down, and put 4 on top of those. This is going to signify when the game will end. It will act as a counter, as well as giving you events. Make sure those award cards are shuffled, and go ahead and flip the first one and discard the rest. Make sure everyone starts with 30 currency. And then go ahead and flip the very first city card to see what event happens. In this case, I decide from my choices here to get 5 coins. Now, let's play the game. So, the bulk of the game is the park step. In the park step, you can decide to build, take, loose change, or demolish. We have these actions tracked on the park with a token in the middle in the park phases. To do the build, you will play a park card either from your hand or the market. We'll do from our hand for now, and pay the coins showing. And then build the attraction to your park, paying the money to the supply. You can also choose to pay the market for a market card. Either way, the money goes to the supply and the card goes to your tableau. You can also choose to take a card. To take a card, you pull a card from the market into your hand. Or you can go ahead and draw 2 blueprints or 2 park cards, and you keep 1 or none. Another choice is to discard a card to draw 5 park cards, and you can keep 1 of those. On a build, You can also build an upgrade to one of your attractions that already exists. Follow the same steps as buying a card. You'll just buy this card and tuck it underneath your attraction that you want it to be under, following any rules that it might have, and paying any coins, following any further steps at the bottom as well, if it has any abilities. Your next option is loose change. You just count the number of attractions you have and gain a coin for each one. And your last choice in a park step is to demolish. You can just remove a card and, of course, any upgrades that come with it. You're going to do this until you have reached Park Step 4. Park Step 4 you will only become active if you've built your showcase. If you have not built your showcase, you do not do Park Step 4. If you have built your showcase, you do have that extra turn. Now you're ready for your guest step. Here's where you count up the number of star values, and you get coins equal to that. Also, if you have any staff members, you will get those coins as well, that it says at the bottom of the card. That is your income. Now you're going to do a cleanup, in which case you discard all market cards from the market. Refill it. You're also going to get 5 coins that you can go ahead and put toward your showcase if you haven't built your showcase yet. You will move the step tracker back to the city, the event city step. Make sure that you only have 5 cards or less in your hand. Pass the starting player over to the next player, and you are going to do this till you run out of those city cards in the event deck. Once that is settled, you're going to do final scoring. In final scoring, you're going to score attractions based on these icons here. The number of icons is going to give you a certain amount of points, which is shown on the scoring summary card that I'm showing. Blueprints also scored. You're going to go ahead and score your blueprints, the first section. If you have all the criteria of your first section on top, you're going to get those victory points. At that point, you unlock a bonus target. If you acquire the bonus target and complete it, you get those victory points as well. If you completed neither, you will lose 10 points. Coins at the end of the game. Every 2 coins you have is 1 point. Staff members have a victory point symbol on them. And lastly, you will get awards. If you won the award, you will get that amount of victory points. And of course, whoever has the most points at the end of the game is your winner.
All right, and we are back for our review of Funfair.
All right. So this is a game that was actually provided to us by the publisher, not a paid preview or anything like that, or a paid review, just provided for some content on the game Funfair. We have not played Unfair, which was the previous game that had more Take That apparently. This is no Take That. I couldn't find a single thing that was Take That in this game. So if you're really opposed to Take That, this would be the version of the game you want. It's also very easy entry. If you are not a board gamer or you're trying to get somebody introduced into board games, Funfair, it's there for you because it's that style of game. So if you like the theme as well. So the theme, the theme park theme is really strong. Think what's it, Tycoon?
Roller Coaster Tycoon, yeah.
Think that the board game. Art is very good. It's a welcoming type of art. Everything about it, it welcomes you. The whole game welcomes you. It is I don't like the art too much on the back ends, but I do like the art that you're gonna see during the whole game. Even the board, some of it, it's okay art. I don't mind the art. It's just kind of a little dry if you saw it out there as far as maybe, I don't know, what's missing. It just feels like the text over the art. Iffy. I don't know. It's not as pretty as the cards, let's say. The tokens are okay. So I was actually expecting maybe poker chips, but again, that's going to be a pricey game if you start doing the poker chips, which would be really nice.
Yeah.
But a lot of games do this instead. So those are fine. It's better than some other chips that we get. So component-wise, it's good just because of that art, I think. And also your little mini right here is pretty cool. That's a little round tracker. I like that. And kids like that too. Whenever we brought it out, they want to push. Like, can I push that? Sure, no problem. Pretty cool that we get our own little mega ride here. You get our little showcase. The game is simple. I taught the rules. I explained the rules. That's it. That's all there is to the game. So the question is it good? From a person that plays heavier board games, is it still going to be something that I want to play? The answer is yes. The answer is a resounding yes. I really like this game. So I do want to come back to it. Does it have the replayability of, let's say, past 10 games? Maybe not. I think this game probably would peak out somewhere around there unless you love the theme. Then you could probably want to keep coming back. Because you want to build out your theme park. It's cool. It's a theme that if it appeals to you a lot, you can get a lot of plays out of this game.
Yeah.
So my score on this game, take into account that I do like heavier games. So you're getting somebody that's not into a lot of light games, but I'm still going to give it an 8-2.
Wow.
So it's a strong score. If you watch this channel, then you know that's a pretty strong score for me. That's a recommend. So what do you think, Vic?
Yeah, I really like the quality of the components overall. I mean, even though they are cardboard chits for the money, I still thought that they were pretty fair for what they were. At least they're in different denominations, and you're touching them a lot in this game, moving them around, and I never felt like they were fraying on the sides or falling apart. The art is great. Mr. Cuddington has done other art for Title Blades, Title Blades, and just always great stuff from Mr. Cuddington there. Fun theme. Who doesn't like, well, some people don't. Some people are against roller coasters. I really like roller coasters. I like amusement parks. And I like that you have different cards. There's so many cards in that park deck that it does lend to the replayability of the game, because you would have a chance to really go through different combinations for your park. And although, you are using blueprints to kind of guide your decisions, you're not necessarily locked into those because you have a choice of choosing those blueprints. So, if you wanted to, and it wouldn't necessarily be a winning strategy, but you could try to just do a park, your own way and I'm going to make rides that have 3 themes on each one or something crazy. Mm-hmm. You could do that. You could go for whatever you want, really. The blueprint is not like some games where it's an objective that you're going to miss out if you don't complete it. It's good. You probably wouldn't win the game if you didn't have any blueprints, I would think, but it depends on what your opponents are doing too. The fact that there's a time when you can't get any more of the blueprints, that's great too. Like, I think that's kind of interesting that you can't take them at the end and try to pull it off when you've already built out your rides. It is too bad that you can only have 5 attractions, because I wanted to keep building out different thrill rides and different leisure ride, different things, attractions. And the attractions are not necessarily rides. Some of them could be a food outlet or something else, but I guess they had to put a cap on it, and you are constrained. The game goes by really quick too. I didn't think it was that bad. We played it at 2, and we also played it at 4 players. 2 went a little faster, as you would imagine, than when you duplicate it up to 4. But still, it didn't overstay its welcome. And what's interesting is the board actually flips over depending on how your table is oriented. So when we showed our example, we have the 2 players set up because we're both on the same side of the table. But the game actually affords you another side of the board that will help you with 4 players, so that everybody can have a good access and view of the market cards and the different card areas to discard. So overall, I really thought the game was a strong game. As Nick mentioned, it is a little on the lighter side, and it isn't too strategy heavy. There's not much that you have to really think about with this game. You're following instructions in your blueprints. Maybe you might need to make decisions about when you want to build that showcase. But I found that building it earlier was good because you got that extra action. So I wanted to do it. The game is interesting too because at the end you end up building your showcase even if you wanted to or not, because you end up with $20 in the final round. You actually have that on there, so you have a chance to put that showcase out and get that last action. So my score for this game is a 7.7. Strong score for me. Like Nick, I feel very good about it. I would play it certainly with people who are new to the hobby, like Nick mentioned. And I would also play it as a filler game in between some of the heavier games. If you just want to bust out something that has a nice looking appearance, that you know people will appreciate the theme, because a lot of our friends enjoy amusement parks. So you know they're going to like that right away, and you can maybe reel somebody into the hobby with it. So that's always an exciting one to have in your arsenal.
If you're staying past the scores, I'll go into some other things. If Vic, you want to do that too. So the blueprints, like Vic said, it is also interesting that we don't get one of these to start the game.
Yeah.
You have to expend an action, which I don't mind at all. I don't mind giving us that openness and deciding, do I want blueprints or not? I can go a whole game without blueprints and possibly win if I really focus.
Yeah.
I do think there is a decent amount, for a light game, there's a decent amount of consideration of what I'm doing. There's sometimes where I'm looking at particular cards and I do that action where I can get discard 1, draw 5.
Mm-hmm.
There's times when I'm really focused on whatever symbol would be up here and I really want those flags.
Yeah.
So when I have the option, I want to take one of those. Or I want to work a certain upgrade based on a blueprint. So for a light game, there is a decent amount of consideration. That is the whole reason I really like this game. If it didn't have that and it was just like building a park and enjoying the theme, I wouldn't like it. I'll be straight up. I wouldn't like the game. I'm not that invested in themes usually, so a theme couldn't carry a game for me ever, really. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine, at least I haven't run into a game where that's happened. And this one would be no exception, because I like theme parks. I'm not in love with them. It wouldn't carry a game just to have a theme park theme. Now, if you don't like theme parks, should you get this game? I don't think it really matters if you like theme parks or not. You're either going to like the mechanisms or you're not. You can hate roller coasters. You can have a deathly fear of roller coasters and still play this game. Well, you can, if you want, you don't have to build any roller coasters. First of all, you can build leisure rides or whatever. You can build attractions, sideshows, all kinds of stuff, food
theaters
vendors,
and things. Yeah.
You can do your own theme park. And if you really are opposed to thrill rides, the fast roller coasters, you don't have to build them. I would recommend you do if you have an objective that says
and it's good because you get also staff members. I forgot to completely mention the staff members. That's cool. That helps you score points as well. That can also be something that can make up for a lack of blueprints, because then maybe you might want to go pirate heavy. Now you're going to start scoring points. You're going to get income with some of the staff members, because money is pretty tight in this game too.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that, because you don't want to have too much money where it's too easy and you don't have to make meaningful decisions and you can just buy everything.
A lot of those games suffer for when, like, later in the game, when you take something that provides you ongoing benefits during the game. It's not as good as late in the game. However, this one, at least you get victory points for those people, so they're not worthless. A lot of them give you 3, 5, 7 victory points to have those staff members. Yeah. So they're not worthless. You go ahead and put it out there. You're going to get something for them, as opposed to a lot of games where it's like, why even have this at this point? I don't care about these abilities.
It doesn't suffer from you getting a card later in the game that has no meaning, or getting a card early in the game that has no meaning later on. Yeah. Like some other card games do, when it is kind of whatever comes up in the market.
Yep. Another pro that jumps right out. Right when you open the board, it jumps out at you. That, like Vic mentioned, double-sided. We care a lot about how boards are positioned when we're playing 4-player games, especially. Mm-hmm. Just to give us those two options of how it's going to look to the people, that is awesome. So it's not just double-sided board, they're both the exact same. No, the thought there of the positioning of players that are sitting on a table is excellent. I wish more games did that. I think that's phenomenal. I cannot stress enough how much I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do like that you can build from the market or your hand. Yep. So that's another layer of strategy there as well, where you might think, I want to stop my opponent from getting another feature because the award is about features, and I have features, in my hand, but I'm going to take that one off the shelf. and I'll buy that one and then discard.
Yeah, just like Everdell.
You could do it. Yeah,
Like
it's great like that. Yeah, and you never know what's gone into the discard, and then you just until they get reshuffled, of course. But lots of cards, lots of fun in this game, fun theme. And a beautiful presence, really, on the table, and the cards are a lot of great little details that you can see on the cards itself. And
Look at
overall,
Look at that, Beck. What do you think about that?
we just noticed that the box says it's ages 14 and up, which we're pretty surprised by, because I would have thought that maybe an 8-year-old could play this game.
That's what I was
thinking. Like,
I was expecting to see 8+.
Yeah.
I just saw 14+ in the box. This is a game you can introduce to kids. They're underselling that. Unfortunately, I would say probably ignore that 14 up. I'm not sure why that's there. I think a kid could play this game at age whatever 8 to 10, 8, 10, something like that.
Yeah, around that age group.
14, man, I'm surprised because normally companies would do the opposite. They would say a lower number or a lower player, like a
They
playtime.
undersell it, yeah.
The playtime would be too low or say it too high. But a lot of times they'll try to get that or even a wider player count than it should be.
Yeah.
They'll kind of push the boundaries, or they'll say like, oh, this game can be played an hour and a half, and it really plays in like 3 hours. They decided to go the opposite way and say ages 14 up, which is actually really shocking to me. I'm really surprised that they put that.
Just caught our eye right now. We looked at
I had not noticed until this very moment. 14 and up? No, I don't think so.
Well, it's a good game to bring for family. We're going to add this to our family games playlist, which has other great choices. If you don't mind taking a look at that for other inspirations and what you can bust out with some of the younger families and people who are newer to the hobby that want a more friendly intro and not to be thrown into the deep end with a super complicated Euro game. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome reviews. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.